This morning, investigators are looking into what caused a deadly plane crash. We'll show you where it happened and how thick fog slowed rescue efforts.
Plus, the Slender Man stabber set to be back in court this morning for an extradition hearing. Well, we're also learning about the communication errors after she escaped.
And today marks the start of the Thanksgiving travel season. How to prepare for possible flight delays or interruptions. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now This Morning on your Tuesday. I'm Kyrie Lee.
And I'm Chris Stanford. Thanks for joining us. We want to get right away to the fog out there. It is thick this morning.
Yes, it is. I had to take it slow coming in this morning, but we do have our lead photojournalist, Mark Schilling, out in our live drive this morning.
Yeah, he is looking to get on the Beltline, I believe. We've been taking a look at just how low visibilities are. You know, from further away, you can on those DOT cams, it looks pretty thick. Let's get you a close-up. There we go. Getting you a close-up look here is Mark Schilling is about to get on the Beltline. Boy, Savannah, it is just getting worse out there, it seems.
Yeah, this is blanketing pretty much the entire area. We've got some visibilities, guys, that are currently down to 0 miles. Prairie du Chine's there, but a lot of us at a quarter, and even Madison now dropping to 1/8 of a mile. So the most dense of fog, Madison west and northward. We've got a dense fog advisory for most of the area until 10 a.m. We've got calm winds, high humidity levels that driving the fog out there, and a lot of moisture, some mist and drizzle. The dense fog advisory again until 10 a.m. I think past late morning, we still could have some fog that lingers out there, but for the most part, should see visibilities come up more than what they're at right now. Any showers, measurable rain just to the east of Janesville right now. We've also got a couple of spotty showers up near Black River Falls. We are expecting more rain later this evening, a couple rumbles of thunder turning to snow tonight. We'll time that out coming up.
Savannah, thank you. We begin with developing news this morning. The FAA and NTSB are expected to be on scene today as they investigate a deadly plane crash in Greene County.
You can see how thick fog made those conditions rather difficult for first responders last night. That crash ended up killing 2 people. The plane catching fire, but firefighters were able to quickly put out the flames. That plane went down in a field across from the Monroe Municipal Airport yesterday, shortly after 5 p.m. Today, federal investigators will continue to work to uncover the cause of the crash.
We will make sure to provide updates to your phone through the Channel 3000 News app. It's free to download. Just search Channel 3000 in your phone's app store. In some other news, today, the Slender Man stabber who escaped her group home in Madison will have an extradition hearing in Chicago. After a 24-hour search, Posen police in Illinois arrested Morgan Geyser late Sunday night. She escaped her group home Saturday after cutting off her ankle monitor. Officials from Madison Police and Waukesha County say communication should have been better while she was on the run. Madison Police did not learn of her arrest until nearly 12 hours after she went missing. Waukesha officials say that the victim and her family were not informed that Geyser was missing.
At 12:20 this afternoon, they still had not been informed by any other agency other than our own that she had escaped, which is very concerning.
A month and a few days after her arrest.
In 2014, Geyser and her friend Anissa Weir lured the victim and stabbed her 19 times to appease the fictional character Slender Man. A legal expert says that someone getting conditional release and escaping is rare.
Now to a health warning in Rock County. A goose is now tested positive for bird flu. The Rock County Public Health Department says they were notified late last week that the goose had also come into contact with someone. It's the first confirmed Rock County case of the virus since 2022. Health officials then told that individual to watch out for any possible symptoms and follow safety protocols. The county says that that person has not reported any symptoms though yet and did not need to get tested any further. 6:03 now to more national news. Today marks the start of the Thanksgiving travel period.
AAA forecasts a record-breaking holiday period between today and Monday, with at least 82 million people traveling 50 miles or more from home. Let's take a live look at St. Louis Lambert International Airport this morning. The FAA says they expect this Thanksgiving to be the busiest in 15 years, with more than 52,000 flights today alone. The TSA expects the Sunday after Thanksgiving to be one of its busiest travel days ever. The FAA says that this holiday period, along with Christmas week, typically sees the highest rate of flight disruptions. And if you're flying this holiday, it's important to be prepared. When possible, fly direct. And if not, know your connections so you can have a plan A or B or adjust your itinerary if problems arise. On travel day, check where your plane is and track its arrival location.
Okay, my plane before it gets to me in, sunny Miami is going to go through 4 or 5 cities that are getting hit by a snowstorm today. And I'm going to have to probably plan ahead a bit more or just be aware that there's a potential of more delays.
AAA predicts nearly 90% of travelers will drive, about 6 million will fly, and fewer than 3 million will use other modes of transportation.
Right now, both U.S. and Russian officials are discussing a possible Ukraine peace plan. It comes after U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll met with the Russian delegation for several hours yesterday. It is unclear, though, who's joining him on the diplomatic mission. It comes just days after Driscoll and other U.S. diplomats negotiated the framework of a U.S. drafted deal in Geneva, Switzerland. Ukraine's president has proper considerations, but fewer points. This comes as rescue efforts continue in Ukraine's capital city after overnight strikes from Russia. The Ukraine State Emergency Service says at least 2 people are dead, 6 others injured. Ukraine's energy ministry also says the attack hit critical energy infrastructure, but did not disclose how badly they were damaged or if they were fully destroyed.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration is trying to encourage the use of artificial intelligence in federal scientific research. The new Genesis mission will allow Department of Energy labs use AI in working with tech companies and academic supporters. Say the move could improve research in physics, chemistry, nuclear fusion, and space exploration. However, there are also concerns about the energy demands that AI technology requires, as well as safety concerns of weaker regulations.
6:06 now. Take a look at this video here of a tornado that created a path of destruction through the Houston area yesterday. The twister damaging more than 100 homes in Harris County, with entire neighborhoods left covered in debris. Thankfully, no serious injuries or deaths to report from this tornado. The National Weather Service did confirm a tornado touchdown, but has not yet rated the storm. And conditions remain favorable for more severe thunderstorms as the cold front moves through that region. So keep that in mind if you are headed south for the Thanksgiving travel holiday. Also, we've got some weather systems that could impact, headed there, headed back. I mean, there's just so much. The fog out there this morning, too, that could hang around for several hours. That's something else. If you maybe have some plans to head out this morning for your Thanksgiving holiday.
So just plan ahead. Yeah. Well, coming up after the break, as costs rise, families in Wisconsin are struggling to afford childcare. We'll show how high cost and limited options are forcing tough choices for parents across the state.
And we're keeping an eye on the roads this morning as that fog is thick in a lot of communities. We're seeing quarter-mile visibilities here in the Madison area. We're going to show you some different looks and time out those systems that could impact your holiday travel.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
The cost of childcare here in Wisconsin is rising faster than many families can keep up with.
Escalating costs, limited access, and a workforce stretched thin are all contributing factors. In this special report, I share one mother's story about how rising prices shaped her life and what advocates say is the heart of the issue. Erin Rogers enjoys these quiet mornings with her 2-year-old daughter, while her 3 older daughters, ranging from kindergarten to 4th grade, are at school.
I, in particular, have looked into it on occasion to maybe go back to part-time work, and it doesn't make sense right now.
A few years ago, high childcare costs pushed her out of the workforce. With limited availability and high cost, many parents and families are forced to make hard choices.
When we had 2 in part-time childcare, I really liked it for them. It was really great that they could have a little bit of interaction with other kids and other people, adults in their life.
But the cost started piling up.
Budgeting became more of a priority because the margins were a lot thinner.
Erin and her husband had to pivot, and she became a stay-at-home mom.
And that is something I don't take for granted.
Look at this one.
I know that's not the reality for a lot of people, especially in Dane County where the cost of living is higher. And I also believe that daycare workers should be given a living wage.
Data shows most children under 5 in Wisconsin are enrolled in licensed group or center-based child care programs. According to Madison-based nonprofit Community Coordinated Child Care Inc.'s 2024 market rate survey, for full-time infant care in Madison, families pay a median of $450 per week compared with $419 per week outside the city. Across all of Dane County, infant care rates range from $165 to $597 per week, depending on the facility. This means the median annual cost for just one infant in the city of Madison is $23,400. That's more than double the in-state tuition at UW-Madison. For toddlers, weekly costs across Dane County range from $150 to $563. In comparison, in Rock County, the median weekly rate is $277 for infant care. Toddler care ranges from $175 to $380. And in Sauk County, the median weekly rate is $250 for infant care, with rates ranging from $180 to $300 for toddlers.
Families, I believe, need to be supported, especially low-income working families, so that they can afford quality child care and not just, go to the cheapest place or have the friend and family. And then I think that the centers need to be supported.
Dahi Wolf, a senior policy analyst at Kids Forward, says Wisconsin is experiencing a child care emergency following the expiration of crucial state funding.
That expired on June 30th, and we were hoping that the Joint Finance Committee would see the wisdom in supporting it to continue. They did not.
The governor requested $440 million for child care support in the state budget, but the legislature approved $330 million. This includes $110 million in direct payments to child care providers that runs through next June. Without adequate funding, Wolf says providers face a staffing crisis.
People can go down the street and work at Quick Trip for more money than they're going to get paid at a child care.
Despite some shortfalls, the state has invested more than $220 million to help families and strengthen access to quality care. Funding will increase Wisconsin Share's reimbursement rates, helping lower out-of-pocket costs for working parents. The new Get Kids Ready program will support 4-year-olds and prepare them for the classroom. There's also funding for a pilot program aimed at expanding access for infants and toddlers, while additional funding will support provider capacity, child care resource, and referral agencies.
We're kind of an island in the middle of the Midwest in terms of what we do to support families and children. I look at Minnesota, I look at Illinois, and I look at Michigan, my home state, and I am so jealous because they are doing amazing things. I mean, Michigan now has free child care for low-income families.
The child care crisis is also affecting women's workforce participation. Wisconsin has historically ranked among the top 5 states for women's participation in the workforce, but that's changing.
And those states that have higher women's participation do better in the economy. We need a public system, just like with healthcare and any of these other things, so that we can really put the needs of those families first.
Looking ahead, Wolf hopes policy changes will come with upcoming elections. Without renewed funding, Wolf says more child care centers could close, leaving families with even fewer options and the state with fewer workers.
You can't have workers worried about where to send their kids every day. You're just not going to get people coming to their jobs if they have to choose between their job and their family.
Reporting in Dane County, Kyrian Lee, News 3 Now. And about 5% of child care providers in Dane County who responded to that particular survey plan to raise their rates between now and next month.
Yeah, it's not going to get any cheaper anytime soon without some serious intervention, on the state level or the federal level. So it's really up to families or employers too. Employers are offering some options now, but just not to the scale that's needed.
Yes, and we have a further breakdown over on our website right now. That's channel3000.com.
All right, back to the fog this morning. That is the big story as we give you a live look at the Beltline at Park Street. Look at that.
Yeah, things were a little rocky driving in this morning. We do have lead photojournalist Mark Schilling out in our live drive this morning, giving us a close-up look of those road conditions this morning. I think things may look, I don't know, maybe just a wee bit better than it did when I was driving in this morning.
Yeah, boy, but some areas are just so thick, and Savannah's got a good map here that shows just the variations from certain spots across the viewing area. Savannah, what can you show us?
Yeah, guys, a lot of us down to 1/4 of a mile. Madison's there, Monroe, Platteville, Lone Rock. Prairie du Chien right now is at 0, though. We've got a dense fog advisory for most of the area until 10 a.m. I do think some fog is going to linger past that. We've still got higher humidity levels in the cold front to our northwest. They're not going to be as low as what we're seeing right now on what's to come to follow through the lunchtime hour, though. Any showers really confined to areas southeast of here. They're spotty. We were seeing a little bit of lightning show up on radar and a couple pockets of heavier showers. That's no longer the case across southern Wisconsin. We will see more rain form once we get past that morning hour. I think La Crosse, Black River Falls could have some spotty ones through mid to late morning. Some of those break up, though. The main line that'll be out ahead of the cold front, that won't reach us until the late afternoon, early evening, and will continue through the evening, the late or tonight hours until about midnight. This is 7 p.m. Couple rumbles of thunder can't be completely ruled out. That system mainly east of here once we get past that 11 p.m. time frame. Then with the low, as that moves overhead, that pulls in very breezy conditions. We've got a wind advisory in place for most of the area, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow. Still expecting breezy conditions into Thanksgiving, but that also pulls in much cooler air and some light snow showers that are going to move in for most of the morning tomorrow. And this will even continue to the lunchtime hour and even close to that 3 to 4 p.m. time frame before we see the snow move out of here. And then quickly falling temperatures after that the rest of Wednesday. North of Madison could pick up 1 to 2 inches at the most. I think Madison and south going to be well under an inch. As far as how windy it's going to get, we've got that strong westerly wind that's going to gust up to 20 to 25 miles per hour already tonight. Once we get past midnight, you see this purple contour. That is very, very strong winds. That moves in for everyone, where gusts could be up to 50 miles per hour tomorrow morning. And keep in mind, that's how most of the day is going to be. Very windy Wednesday, and this could impact you traveling too, especially smaller cars out on the roads. 9 p.m. still expecting breezy conditions, and again, most of Thanksgiving will still be windy. How about the weekend after storm system that we've been tracking? Storm track 1 would bring northern Wisconsin the best chance of heavy rain for us across southern Wisconsin, as that low looks to track across southern Wisconsin, a wintry mix. I think we're more likely to see storm track 2. That would bring northern Illinois the heaviest chance of snow, still solely snow for southern Wisconsin, with the low tracking just near the St. Louis area. This would mainly come Saturday and be kind of an all-day Saturday event into Sunday. Storm track 1 would come Sunday into Monday. So there's still a lot of uncertainties. Can't show snow totals yet. As we get closer to 72 to 48 hours out, that's when they become a little bit more accurate, and the most accurate obviously as we head into that 24-hour time frame or the day of. But yeah, we've got uncertainties as how far and where exactly we're going to see travel impacts, but I do think there will be some travel impacts definitely across the Midwest. That's where the snow is going to be potentially heavy at times, and the travel that could become dangerous very quickly. And again, this system for sure coming Thanksgiving weekend, just kind of depends on the exact days. If the storm track 1 were to last, that would be again Sunday into Monday. So still a lot of uncertainties, but the Midwest parts of it, guys, definitely going to see a winter storm system.
All right, Savannah, thank you for keeping us updated. Still ahead, we have a look at your morning sports.
And the nation's airports aren't the only places to expect a lot of holiday travel. Coming up in our next half hour, we're going to continue to outline when and where you might want to hit the road.
And before we head to break, here's a look at your gas prices this morning as we begin the Thanksgiving travel season. We'll be right back.
What an exciting past few weeks it's been for Wisconsin football. Bucky may not be eligible for a bowl, but they'll treat their upcoming game as if it were one, as they fight for Paul Bunyan's axe in Minnesota. Last year's loss to the Gophers was the final nail in the coffin for Wisconsin. The game at Camp Randall was the last of a 5-game losing streak, but most importantly, it snapped a 22-year bowl streak. This time around, the Badgers can change history and finish a wild season on a high note.
When you kind of get to this week, that it's hard to talk about anything else. And I've said it since the day I came here. I've grown up this way. Like, what makes college football special is rivalries. We brought it up after the game on Saturday, but I wanted the guys to enjoy, the the Saturday night. Not that it was very long because it was a later night, but I wanted to make sure they woke up the next morning and understand that what's in front of us, and it's all about getting that axe.
Should be an exciting week of football. I am looking forward to seeing if the Badgers can chop down the goalposts in Minneapolis this time around.
Thanks, Nash. Meantime, the Bucks' struggles continue. They've now lost 5 in a row, and all 3 since Giannis went out with an injury. Trailblazers visiting Pfizer Forum last night, first quarter. Bobby Portis, a little turnaround in the lane there to get a bucket. Whittle the lead down to 6. Third quarter, though, it would be mostly Blazers, and they would go on to win it fairly easily. Keep it here. We'll track the fog when we come back. This morning, we have new information about the Slender Man attacker who is set to appear in court today, and some new information regarding the investigation.
And a federal judge has tossed out cases against 2 of President Trump's longtime foes. We'll detail the judge's reasoning and how the White House is reacting.
And hitting the road for Thanksgiving. It'll be a foggy one this morning if you're headed out. Wind AAA says the roads will be busiest. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning on a Tuesday. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Lee. Thanks for waking up with us this morning.
So foggy out there. Madison seems to be one of the worst spots in the viewing area this morning.
Yes, that's the big story this morning. Let's take a live look at the roads this morning so you can get an up-close and personal look if you haven't been out there yet. Lead photojournalist Mark Schilling out on the roads for us this morning.
Yeah, he is driving around on the interstate. This is one of the best views that we've seen all morning. This does not look too bad at all. You do see a little bit of fog out there, but definitely worse in other spots. Let's check in now with Savannah Brito on your First Warn forecast, certified most accurate 5 years running here in Madison. All right, show us what we can expect.
Yeah, don't forget to say it, guys. Madison's down to just half a mile, but just west we have still some spots. The Dells, Lone Rock, Monroe down to a quarter of a mile, and Prairie du Chien at 0. These have continued to fluctuate, but a lot of us at a quarter of a mile or even under that through the last several hours. We've got a dense fog advisory until 10 in the morning. I still think some fog will linger past that 10 a.m. time frame. I just don't think it'll be as dense as what we're seeing right now. Some light patchy fog. Drizzle and mist with high humidity levels as well. We've got that off to our southeast and a few very spotty ones up near Black River Falls. Those areas of drizzle or mist not really seen out there across a lot of the area, but we are dealing with that. Again, humidity levels near 100% this morning. We're expecting showers, maybe even a couple rumbles of thunder later this evening, and then turning to snow overnight. We'll talk about why and give an update on our thoughts for the weekend system.
Sounds good. Well, today, the Slender Man stabber who escaped her group home in Madison will have an extradition hearing in Chicago. And this morning, we're also learning some new details about her arrest.
Police in Posen, Illinois arrested Morgan Geyser late Sunday night, ending a 24-hour search. Investigators say she cut off her ankle monitor and escaped her group home on Saturday. Officers found Geyser asleep outside a truck stop alongside Chad Mecca. A friend Madison police say helped her get away.
Now, during the arrest, Geyser repeatedly refused to give police her identity. She said that she didn't say anything because that she had done something really bad and told officers to just Google her. She is not facing any charges in Illinois this morning. That would delay her return to Wisconsin. Previously granted conditional release from a 40-year mental health sentence, Waukesha County officials now want to revoke it.
It's extremely concerning that you would so blatantly violate a very, very simple condition, which is to stay in a placement and keep a bracelet on. And that we have no idea what was going on is extremely concerning to the state, because immediately my thoughts went to the victim and keeping the community safe.
Waukesha DA officials say neither the victim nor her family were notified that Geyser was on the loose. Geyser and her friend Anissa Weir lured the victim into the woods and stabbed her 19 times in 2014, attempting to appease the fictional character Slender Man. A legal expert says it's rare for someone to get conditional release and escape custody.
We pushed the alert of Geyser's escape on the Channel 3000 News app. You can download it wherever you get your apps.
Now to our continuing coverage of the arrest of 2 brothers accused in homicides from nearly a decade ago. Both are set to appear in court next week after a judge set their bonds. Justin Charlo faces 1 count of first-degree intentional homicide as a party to a crime for a 2017 shooting. His bond is set at $850,000. His brother, Jordan Charlo, also charged in that 2017 case, faces 2 additional homicide charges connected to deadly shootings in 2016 and 2017. Their next court appearance is December 4th.
Just into the newsroom this morning, a U.S. official tells CBS News that Ukraine's government has agreed to a peace deal brokered by the Trump administration to stop Russia's assault on Ukraine. The official says that Ukraine's national security minister says a common understanding on a proposal has been reached, with details still to be worked out. This comes as the U.S. Army Secretary is in Abu Dhabi this morning to meet with Russian officials. There is no reaction yet from Russia this morning.
In other national news, the White House says it's not giving up after a judge threw out cases against James Comey and Letitia James.
Yeah, the judge says that it's because the prosecutor in charge was unlawfully appointed. James faced charges of bank fraud and making false statements. Comey was charged with obstruction of Congress and making false statements. Both have denied the allegations against them. Legal experts say an appeal could be difficult for Comey's case, with the charges now beyond the 5-year statute of limitations.
For James Comey, it could mean the end of the case, depending on the timing. For Letitia James, likely not.
Both Comey and James have argued that the case against them were politically motivated.
Pentagon officials are reviewing misconduct allegations against Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly to determine whether he should be recalled to active duty and face court-martial proceedings. Kelly, a former U.S. Navy captain, is one of 6 Democratic lawmakers who released a video last week telling troops to remember they are not required to follow unlawful orders. Kelly says he learned of the new probe on social media and says he won't be intimidated.
Well, the Bucks' struggles continue. They've now lost 5 in a row, and all 3 since Giannis got hurt. Trailblazers visiting Pfizer Forum last night. First quarter, Bobby Portis going to make a nice little move, a little fadeaway there in the paint. Whittle the lead down to 6. Now to the third. Denis Ovadia making a move to get open. 70-55 Blazers. A minute later, Ryan Rollins responds with a quick step back jumper against the Blazers center, Donovan Clingan. That cuts the lead to 10. In the end, though, Portland just too much for Milwaukee to stop. 115-103 the final. Bucks now head to Miami to take on the Heat.
Now to more local news. City of Madison officials say the city has received more than $17 million in federal grants to replace aging buses with new hybrid vehicles. The funding is part of a $2 billion DOT initiative to modernize transit fleets across the country. City leaders say the grant will help retire some of the oldest buses in the system and cut down on maintenance costs for vehicles that are no longer reliable.
6:36 now. Beloit has a new interim fire chief this morning. Last night, the Police and Fire Commission named Todd Farley to the spot. Farley has led the department's EMS division as a battalion chief since January 23. He boasts 30 years in fire service and holds a master's degree in leadership. The PFC will cover the hiring process at their meeting next week.
Officials say UW Health's East Park Medical Center is already exceeding expectations just 1 year after opening. Officials say the center averaged more than 1,000 clinic visits per day in its first year and about 4,600 daily appointments for services like imaging, nutrition, and rehabilitation. They say 22% of those patients were new to the healthcare system. Because of the unexpected demand, UW Health is now planning a parking expansion.
Well, the Thanksgiving travel period officially starts today. AAA forecasting a record-setting holiday period between today and Monday.
AAA predicts more than 82 million people will travel at least 50 miles from home. They say nearly 90% of travelers will drive, about 6 million will fly, and fewer than 3 million will use other modes of transportation. An analysis from Samsara shows crash rates the Sunday after Thanksgiving are 65% higher than the Sunday before. This is a reminder to take extra care on the roads.
So here is when AAA says the best and worst times to travel are. Now, this is not taking into consideration the weather at all, so please keep that in mind. So afternoon and evening today and tomorrow are when they expect the most congestion. Best to leave before noon. And if you're headed back Friday or Saturday, you want to avoid traveling from around 1 to 7 or 8. Try to leave before 11. And then Sunday and Monday, expect some heavy traffic from 11 to 8 o'clock. Best time to travel, AAA says, again, without the weather at play here, is Sunday, 11 or before 11 or after 8 on Monday.
It's a little.
What? It's a lot to follow.
Busy like windows of traffic.
Right.
I think we'll all have some heading back to Madison.
Yes, yeah, it'll be it's a large window of busyness, but yeah, I know the weather could be playing some play here too, and that's throughout the Midwest, like, especially if you're like me, who's supposed to be traveling from here to Missouri.
I know.
We'll see what happens.
I think we could see some travel impacts as we're heading back to southern Wisconsin. Again, that was all without the weather taken into consideration, which we are going to see a big system that'll bring parts of the Midwest some messy weather. That's as we get into that Friday, late Friday, specifically Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday time frame too. There's a couple different tracks the storm system the weekend after Thanksgiving could take. We'll have that coming up in Maine weather. The big story this morning is the fog blanketing the entire area. Madison now up to 1 mile. These visibilities will continue to fluctuate, and most of us are under a dense fog advisory. That's until 10 in the morning. I think we could have some light fog, patchy fog still linger after that 10 a.m. time frame, even past lunchtime. We've got high moisture, that leading to some mist out there this morning, but some scattered showers return by later this evening. A couple rumbles of thunder turning to snow. We'll time that out and the weekend system when we get back.
Sounds good. Thanks, Savannah. 6:39 on your Tuesday morning. When we come back, we'll check in with our live drive and see how the fog is impacting the morning commute.
And coming up in the 608, how a local health system is supporting food pantries across the area and fighting food insecurity.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
All right, 6:43 on your Tuesday morning. Hopefully you do not have to go anywhere today, and hopefully you're not trying to get out for Thanksgiving this morning because we have some pretty thick fog out there. Let's take a look at the live drive this morning. Mark Schilling is driving up the interstate. I believe he is headed north from Madison towards the Dells, and this doesn't look too bad. This is one of the better shots that we've seen this morning.
Yeah, I would say so, and I guess it's helping as the sun is rising. Hopefully that'll come out at some point today, but I don't know.
Yeah, let's check in with meteorologist Fana Brito. We do have a dense fog advisory in effect for most of the viewing area this morning.
Yes.
Do you see this lifting anytime soon, or do you think this is going to linger for a few hours in the morning like it did the other day?
You know, I do think the most dense of fog probably lifting by 10 in the morning, but I still think we'll have some patchy light fog with slightly higher visibilities than what we're seeing right now persist even after that 10 a.m. time frame. But yeah, the National Weather Service office did continue to add more counties up close, just south of Watoma, and now Viroqua and close to La Crosse, seeing that as well. So the majority of the area, dense fog, where we have visibilities that are under a quarter of a mile or at that threshold. That's why we see and are seeing that dense fog advisory. So keep in mind, allowing a little bit of extra time. We're also dealing with some areas of fog and then mist. The high humidity levels leading to that patchy drizzle this morning. As far as when we're expecting more widespread rain, some spotty showers northwest of Madison by late morning, early afternoon. But the main line out ahead of the cold front, that's going to come late afternoon, early evening. This is 7 p.m. There will be some pockets of heavier showers and maybe even a couple of rumbles of thunder. We're not expecting any thunderstorms or any severe weather here. That's a different story far across the deep south later today and ongoing already this morning. 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. later tonight, that moves northeast mainly. Dry conditions expected west briefly. That's before the low tracks closer to us, bringing us some light to moderate snow showers. Now, as far as accumulations go, north of Madison, 1 to 2 inches at the most. South of Madison and including Dane County, we're looking at definitely under an inch of snow. Not going to be that impactful, but there will be a lot of people out on the roads with it being Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. So just take that into consideration before heading out. Might want to plan on allowing for extra time. This is 2:30 in the morning. That's west of Madison. And I do think the periods of the day this snow is going to affect definitely the morning and afternoon. I think by the time we're heading closer to lunchtime, we'll still have some snow showers tomorrow. And then by 3 or 4, most of that slowly starting to circle to our east. Still cloudy though, heading into Wednesday night and Thanksgiving Day, but I think mostly dry. Can't rule out a couple of spotty areas of snow showers. We're not going to see any additional accumulation though Wednesday night into Thanksgiving. This is 9:30 p.m. Tuesday. Gusts are going to slowly start to pick up from the west, and then very, very strong northwesterly winds expected for Wednesday, where we could have gusts up to 50 miles per hour. This is going to be the wind advisory 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. The low pressure in the weekend system, we're looking at two possible tracks. Track one would bring us a wintry mix and track across southern Wisconsin. The heaviest of the snow, northern Wisconsin. The second possible track would bring the heaviest of the snow to northern Illinois, but still solely snow light to moderate for us in that track near St. Louis. Track two, that would mainly be an all-day snow event for Saturday. Track one, that would bring northern Wisconsin that best track of snow for Sunday into Monday. So definitely this weekend, parts of the Midwest getting some snow that will lead to travel impacts, especially with it being Thanksgiving weekend. Just uncertainties regarding the ultimate path and obviously snowfall totals. You can't get accurate snowfall totals and put those out until we get closer to that 72 to 24 hour time span. So stay with the First Warn Weather Team. We'll have all the latest on the system tonight and the system over the weekend.
All right, thanks, Savannah. In the 608 this morning, a local health system is supporting food pantries across the state.
Josh Sprider shows us how SSM Health is trying to help fight food insecurity in the communities they serve.
We were at the Badger Prairie Needs Network in Verona with a really cool story today. I have a couple of friends in the 608 joining us. I've got Tracy from here at the Badger Prairie Needs Network and also Megan from SSM Health. Megan, you've got something in your hand and you've got a pretty special presentation. What are we talking about today?
Well, we are here today and we are so excited to be in partnership with the Badger Prairie Network and so excited to offer them a gift of $10,000 for their mission in support of our Mission and Heritage Week at SSM Health.
This is a huge check, so show off that baby. Look at that. Tracy, I mean, this is a huge contribution.
This is incredible. This is one of the largest contributions we get all year, and such a surprise and such a delight because this will feed so many people in our community.
So this is $10,000. How many people will this feed?
Well, it'll create 40,000 meals, and that's using pantry math, but that'll feed a lot of people when you think the average person eats about 20 meals a week, so that's a lot of meals.
Well, and especially during these uncertain times, I mean, this is going to make a huge impact here in Verona.
Absolutely, and the need is increasing, and it's been all over in the news with the SNAP benefits issues and the various issues. We're having more and more people come to us, more new people come to us, and so this kind of contribution makes a huge difference.
And Megan, this is just one of the locations that you guys are giving back. You're really focusing on all of the areas you serve in Wisconsin.
We are. We have 7 hospitals throughout the Wisconsin region, and we are supporting food pantries in all of our markets and in all of our areas. About 20 plus pantries are receiving some support from us this year.
Why is it important for you guys to continue to do stuff just like this?
Yeah, a part of our heritage and mission is really to be thinking about those social determinants of health and those things that really impact our patients and our communities out in our communities. And we really rely on our community partners. We can do great healthcare, but our partners really carry it the rest of the way. And so we're really excited to support specifically our food pantry partners right now.
And that's really what it is. It's a partnership, and you guys won't be able to do this without the help of the community.
Absolutely. We depend on so many different people and so many different organizations for money, for donations, and for volunteers. And we all work together to feed the community.
So if there are folks that are watching this and be like, hey, I want to give, what's the best way for them to help your mission?
The best way is to go to our website, bpnn.org, and click on Donate Now and give us a cash donation, because with that we can buy what we need when we need it, and we can get it at a much better price.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Megan and Tracy, thank you guys so much. Hold up that check nice and high. Look at that. That is going to do some good here in the 608, and that is what we love to see. In Verona, I'm Josh Sprider, News 3 Now.
We do love to see it. Thanks, Josh. Don't forget, Josh is always looking for inspiration to share in the 608. If you have an idea for him, reach out and let him know about it.
Coming up in the morning sprint, meet the 2 lucky turkeys heading for their presidential pardon.
And we have a birthday to celebrate this morning. Happy birthday to Solvi. Hope you have a great day. We're back after this with the sprint. 6:54, time for the morning sprint.
Today, Morgan Geyser, the Slender Man attacker who escaped her Madison group home, will have an extradition hearing in Chicago. Posen police arrested her late Sunday outside a truck stop just 24 hours after she cut off her ankle monitor and escaped. Earlier this year, a judge granted Geyser conditional release from a 40-year sentence at a mental health institution. In 2014, she stabbed her friend 19 times to appease the fictional character Slender Man.
The FAA and National Transportation Safety Board investigating a deadly plane crash in Monroe that killed 2 people. It happened just after 5 p.m. yesterday in a field across from the Monroe Municipal Airport. Conditions were foggy at the time, but the official cause has yet to be determined.
A U.S. official tells CBS News that Ukraine's government has agreed to a peace deal brokered by the Trump administration to stop Russia's assault in Ukraine, with some details to be worked out. This comes as the U.S. Army Secretary is in Abu Dhabi to meet with the Russian officials. There is no reaction from Russia this morning.
In Washington, 2 lucky turkeys are ready for their close-ups. Gobble and Waddle will officially be pardoned by President Trump today, part of a White House tradition that goes back nearly 80 years. The 2 North Carolina turkeys spent last night in a luxury suite at Washington's Willard Hotel, which typically runs about $400 a night.
A federal judge has dismissed indictments against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. The judge ruled the DOJ unlawfully appointed Lindsay Halligan interim U.S. attorney. The ruling states the White House exceeded its authority, and the Trump administration defends the legality of the appointment, calling the decision unprecedented.
Thanksgiving travel period starts today. AAA forecasting a record-setting holiday period between today and Monday, predicting at least 82 million Americans will travel 50-some miles from home. They say almost 90% of them will be driving, about 6 million will fly. Less than half of that will choose other transportation.
We're dealing with the fog early this morning, and it's going to be a breezy evening. And tomorrow we've got a wind advisory in place, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wednesday. Still breezy for Thanksgiving. Scattered showers, a couple rumbles of thunder later this afternoon into the evening, mixing in with snow tomorrow morning and afternoon. Dry for a few days, and then we have a weekend system still could bring us and definitely parts of the Midwest some kind of mixed precipitation and snow. So big, impactful system this weekend.
Yes, so if you're hitting the roads, make sure you just stay tuned in with the weather.
Download the app.
All right, we'll keep watching the fog through news CBS Mornings. Don't go anywhere.